Welcome to the Falmouth Public Schools and the School Garden. The School Garden itself is located across the road from the main campus where all three schools are. And here we have a first grade class kind of making their way through the garden, and we'll come back to some of these parts of the garden as they're being led by Farmer Val. And my name is Farmer Justin, or Justin Derry, and I am the School Garden Program Manager, and I've worked at the schools since 2016. Starting off with just me, and we've now grown the program to have three of us working full-time, maintaining and teaching in these garden spaces. Here the students kind of are taking a regular walk through a section of the garden, just passing our bean teepee right now on the other side of one of our greenhouses, and making their way into our outdoor classroom space. And these students are doing an activity with Farmer Val about parts of the plant where they start off as seeds and then grow up some stems and leaves and fruits or flowers, fruits and seeds, and start that over again. So it's just a way to get movement involved with learning.
Leaves, flowers, fruits, seeds, roots, stems, leaves, flowers, fruits. Nice job, guys.
We'll return to those first graders in a few minutes. After sending a team of people to Shelburne Farms for Farm to School Institute in 2015, we were able to receive funding from the Falmouth Educational Foundation and began work on this site, which was originally supposed to be a tennis court. Here you can see a doubles court to the left, and this was going to become a triples court. And we spent a lot of money to initially install water, electricity, and a original greenhouse or hoop house on the site. The site itself is about 2/3 of an acre. We currently have two greenhouses on site, with the second one at the bottom of the screen here we built during COVID using CARES Act funding, and that becomes our primary classroom space for when we need things indoors in, say, the wintertime and such. Instead of thinking of the gardens as one big space, I like to think of it as lots of little spaces. And we're going to explore some of those now using this garden or map overlay. Another outdoor classroom space we have is our Hardy Kiwi classroom space. It's just a trellis space that I built with some students years ago, and we have some kiwis that grow up in there, which are a fun treat. Here's the old hoop house. It's really had a lot of different uses over the years. In the inserted image here, you can see some high school students using it as a forensics classroom or a crime scene. We use it to dry garlic. We grow seedlings in it. We have a little indoor pond here. And this is sort of a transitional time of year, so some plants are being pulled out and new ones are being put in. But we use this space throughout the year, both as a classroom space and a growing space. And as we come out the backside, the classroom was right off to the right here. That's where the students were doing that plants part movement. And here's the frog pond, which is pretty well grown in, but we get a lot of life happening here with the water feature. We have frogs and toads and snakes, turtles, butterflies, dragonflies, and ducks occasionally. Here's Farmer Margaret on the right-hand side, and they're just looking at frogs right now. Kids love to do it at the end. And you can see the pizza tent in the background there. We have a rice paddy that was built when we originally built our pizza oven, and that rice paddy, here it is partially planted, has really been integrated into some social studies classes that I don't have time to go into today. And this is a classroom of first graders, a different set of first graders at a different time of year, having a pizza party. So it would have been last spring. I don't remember. Must have been some sort of a dress-up day. They're all dressed the same. Making pizzas we've really kind of honed the process. And so we would do it from pre-K. Here are some pre-K students. They do it in the late fall and all the way up through high school. That space also gets used for other instructional features. Here are some third graders trimming garlic that they had planted as second graders. And the spaces themselves are oftentimes created by students. For instance, this group of high school students rebuilt the pizza oven at one point and built, as part of a senior project, a roof to protect the pizza oven itself. Moving away from the pizza area and over to the top part of the garden, or the high point, you can get some idea of how the site has changed over time. 2016, that was when I first arrived to work there. 6 years later, we have some trees planted and the streams have been built. Things are really growing in later that year in 2022. And then roughly today, you can see a lot more vertical happening and more division within the garden. Looking closely, we can actually see the gourd tunnel. And another perspective of how the site itself or the space has changed over time. Here's a view from 2015, just after the team went up to Shelburne Farms. And remember, this was supposed to be a tennis court. And then today, where students enter the garden, that's where you saw students walking in the initial shot. Students walk under this grape arbor to enter the garden. The main growing part of the garden is called Martha's Garden, named after Martha Poliquin, a longtime nutrition services director who was a founder of our farm to school program. Let's check back in with our first grade students and see the project they're working on here. This is a great project connecting the plant parts, and we've created what we call a plant parts passport. And students kind of go around and identify different, so this is an example of a fruit, right? A pumpkin. And they record in their plant parts passport on the fruit page what it was. And we have some rubber stamps that I printed using the laser etcher at the high school. And students then stamp their passport with what they find. It's a great opportunity for students to learn how to try and copy letters. They may not be able to spell the word broccoli, but they can transfer the word broccoli into their passport. And we get to send the passport home with the students, where the parents will see them, and on the back, you don't see it here, but we have a description of our program. So it sort of promotes the program, really gets the students to connect with the space and explore as they find all the different parts of the plant. So finally, returning back to the notion of the garden and spaces within the garden and how we use them, I like to think of the garden as a collection of smaller spaces that we use with intentionality, and we plant and plan for how we will use them and integrate them in with curriculum, and how we hope students will find joy and wonder in those garden spaces through all seasons of the year. And as I close out here, we're going to see a group of students transitioning. So there's actually two classes transitioning here. One is a younger group of students that are just finishing up their talk around the Martha's Garden area, and a group of sixth graders that are walking in to join a discussion about rice. Thank you very much, and good luck on your farm to school journey.